Talk to me about how you're managing the AI effect. What do you think about it? How are you
Yes.
managing and have you pivoted at all? Talk to me.
Well, if you look at my LinkedIn profile, the last three posts I wrote, I authored was around AI in both the recruiting side and AI in the resume side. I think AI is amazing if you use it as a tool to assist you. What's happening now on the recruiting side, both and the resume side, there's a lot of programs out there. Excuse me, I got the hiccups today. A lot of
Sorry.
programs out there that you pay for how many applications you want. So you like Massive. If you want Massive to apply to 300 jobs a month, it will apply to 300 jobs based on the target you set up. Excuse me. It'll tweak your resume. It'll write a cover letter. It will apply on your behalf. You have no way of knowing what applied with. And I'm seeing that on the flip side of the recruiting side.
Wow.
So I interviewed
So
a woman.
your robot's talking to their robot.
It's really weird. I was talking to an interview the other day for it's about $130,000 job for a director of sales in Texas, interviewing a young woman. And on a job posting said you must have Salesforce experience 2+ years to convert leads to paying clients. And another bullet point about being familiar or comfortable working with marketing software. So during a job interview, I asked her, well, give me an example. I use Salesforce to convert clients to leads to clients.
I've
She looked
never
at me. She
used,
said,
she's like, I've never
I
used
never used
Salesforce.
Salesforce. I said, was he on your resume? And then I asked another question about marketing. And she proudly said, with a kind of a smirk on her face, well, I use generative AI to write my resume. So she thought you having been smart about AI should trump everything else. She didn't get hired. I kind of almost killed the interview after that because she
Yeah.
had untruths on her resume. So she actually lied without knowing that. And that's what's happening out there. And even the recruiting side, where we used to have job postings out there, and you can look at LinkedIn and see this also. We would typically get from 100 to 240 resumes in 2 to 3 weeks. Now we're getting anywhere from 800 to 3,000 in the same period of time.
Because it's easier it's easier to apply. You just apply,
You just
or
apply. Yeah, and you can have
yeah,
these systems
yeah,
do it automatically. And what
yeah.
happened is the database and ATS system is full of resumes that might be rich in keywords that might score a little bit better than the resumes that weren't written by AI totally,
Yeah, yeah,
and might float to the top. But the unqualified candidates, some of them should even be applying for the job. It's
yeah.
so screwed up right now. I have a friend who's she recruits a lot of IT positions in Texas. And they posted 2 weeks ago, they posted jobs on Friday. By Monday morning, one job had close to 3,000, another one had 2,500 applications. 85% of them were from India because they were remote jobs.
Wow.
So all these systems applied to these jobs because they were remote.
I see.
It's very different. But it's a great tool. It's a great tool if you get stuck. How do I rewrite this paragraph to sound more like the company's job posting? Take these 5 bullet points that I created. You start with your core resume. Take these 5 bullet points. How do I write them to match your job posting better? Taking little bits of that, helping you create the better content is exactly what we should be doing. Not having AI rewrite your resume for every job.
Couldn't agree more. So, yeah, you said it well. It's a tool. It's a tool to enhance or tweak your resume or change your resume when you need to, but you need to look at it and make sure it hasn't lied or created something that's not real. You don't just have AI do the resume for you and send it without even looking at it. Like
Well, but these services do that automatically. They're gonna you pick I want to apply 200 jobs a month or 300 jobs a month. It will find your jobs and apply for them. Obviously,
wow.
you set up your profile and criteria what you want to apply for, but you'd be applying for a company that you don't want to work for. Like when I
Wow.
worked for Macy's for a short period of time, and when we hired someone to do the women's wear floor, part of that floor was the fur department. She was a big PETA advocate. So why did she take the job when she knew she couldn't sell furs? So you don't apply to companies where you don't connect to.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Okay. Yeah, and by the way, I want the listeners, I don't want the listeners to get the wrong impression of how I'm thinking. Like, hey, it's for me, it's like Microsoft Word spell check or whatever. It's a tool. Like, yeah, use the tool to get better, but don't let it do things for you that you're not aware of, or create stuff that's not true.
Right.
For sure. You know what? Now, I just read an article in the Wall Street Journal. You probably saw this one too. It was a couple of days ago. The article was kind of slamming candidates for using AI on their resumes to enhance their resumes. And I was reading the article, and I'm like, okay, us clients and the companies and the recruiting firms, we've been using AI for years in our ATS system. And now that the candidates are using it, we want to pick on them. I don't know if that's fair.
Well, the AI has been around for 30 years, but generative AI using large language models is really fairly new, especially to the public. So the AI in the ATS system is more linear, where they're looking for these keyword matches or keyword association, but this deep dive into what's available for everyone to use. And again, I'm seeing cover letters that kind of sound the same.
Yeah.
And again, and they're all boring, big paragraphs. It's not really. I practice and preach and do the human voice cover letter. When you see the cover letter, you're going to read it because it looks totally different. It's a conversation the job seekers having with the company.
Now, okay, so all right. So now let me ask you this. What happens to guys like me and you and our companies when the AIs and robots actually get better?
And it will.
Yeah.
So I'm doing the National Resume Writing Association yearly conference for resume writers. I'm doing a 3-hour workshop for that conference, and it's all about AI in our industry. I did one last year. I teach a LinkedIn course in my industry. I certify over 350 resume writers and college career centers people how to effectively use LinkedIn. So I have a deep understanding and connection to all this. But even last year when I talked about AI in LinkedIn, which kind of sucks right now, AI won't replace people, but people using AI will. People using AI will.
Yeah.
So I'm not afraid of losing my job and company, but people don't use AI well and smartly might just fall off the earth, to be honest.
Yeah, I did. So interestingly enough, I just did a post on that this morning. I highly recommend anybody listening continue to educate yourself, pay attention, read the articles, get the certifications, learn how to use the tools, pivot, change, adapt. I mean, if you're just sticking your head in the sand and not paying attention and not learning how to use these tools, you will be left behind. Guarantee it.
And there's one thing about AI we're really unsure about, and it's the privacy of AI. Now, you have a lot of people taking their resume, uploading the resume with the name, address, and everything, uploading it to AI as a document, because you can do that in ChatGPT, uploading a job post and do a comparison. We have to be careful because I know you can't find any personal information out with AI. That doesn't mean it's not out there.
Yeah.
It's out there. At some point, will that become visible to everybody? So we got to be careful not to, put our private information in AI. I see people do it all the time.
Oh, constantly.
Yeah.
I mean, now, I actually, this kind of will bleed into another subject here. Your mock interviews and the teaching people how to interview, I actually think the verbal communication and presence and the ability to interview, I think that becomes even more critical as AI levels the playing field on the written material that's presented, right? Like a lot more resumes are better. A lot more cover letters are better because they're, more common people are using AI. So the written material coming in is that playing field is being leveled, in my opinion. And therefore, the best way for you to really stand out is to make sure you know how to, you're really interviewing well and presenting and speaking and talking well.